Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Game Hub. I'm your host, GamerK. We are in for the final video of the month of November for the year. And I'm so freaking happy I can finally talk about a game that has been on people's minds for years. Ever since Black Flags, I believe, people throughout the internet, videos, ideas, fan-made pages, people have wanted a game set in Japan for the Assassin's Creed series for so many years. And this year, Assassin's Creed Shadows finally emerged from the darkness and graced gamers' review. This game has been in my mind for so many years, and the fact that it finally came out, and the fact that it actually did something very fun, and it also did what Assassin's Creed Syndicate did, giving us two characters to utilize two different styles of gameplay. And, well, again, some people may not like this difference or it doesn't matter. I say it makes a difference because it gives you a choice on how to tackle certain scenarios. So, let's get into it. First off, I'm going to be completely honest. When I first heard this game, I was debating whether it was going to be within the realm of the Order of Ancients, like we've been doing for a good number of games, or if we're finally back to the Templars and we can actually fucking mess their plans up again. And you know what? Again, I am so happy with how this game came out. I'll get into all my good points in time, but to start off, the game does take place in 1579. Because that is important, because at a certain point in the game, they reference something that actually happened in previous games, and I love it. Starting off, first off, I want to get off the bat, there is no modern day story here. There is zero modern day story in Shadows, and I, for one, am thankful for it, because the whole thing with Basim, the assassins, and Abstergo, and everything, I honestly needed a goddamn break. And thankfully, Mirage also gave us a break from that, but also gave us less of a game. Anyway, I'm glad there's no modern day. It's fully focused on the enjoyment of Naue and Yasuke. And I can't believe that it took so many hours to get into just the prologue of the game. And again, I can't contain my excitement for this game. Assassin's Creed Shadows does a lot of things from a majority of the other games, and they kind of hodgepodge it in a great way. But also, for all the people complaining about the character of Yasuke, or the fact that Ghost of Tsushima is hundreds of times better, good for you. You can play that. I love Assassin's Creed. Also, I don't think, by watching a lot of Ghost of Tsushima, and a majority of it, I don't think samurais used grappling hooks and weren't really that agile to use stealth or, grappling hooks. So, where's your accuracy then? Going in, it starts off in a great way, giving us flashbacks of Yasuke's journey from being a technical slave, to being one of Lord Oda Nobunaga's best samurai. And I do like that we don't get an entire story devoted to that, because to have two big stories, I mean, in certain games it works, but for this, it needed to be done quickly. And it's fast and good, and then we get right to Naue's story, because it shows how they both intermingle. With Naue being in a hidden village in Iga, her father is tasked with protecting a certain box. You know what, maybe this is where we can find the black box from Kingdom Hearts 3. I mean, we're protecting a mysterious box, so it works. But then after being defeated and Lord Nobunaga's warriors decimate the land, we recover, and then we find the Onryo samurai that stole the chest from Naoe, which also left the scar on her cheek, which I do love that little bit of detail. I do love it. After finding and defeating the samurai, we are given quite possibly one of my favorite moments in all Assassin's Creed. All Assassin's Creed, maybe my top 5. And I'm just gonna play the music because I actually have it. After two minions attack Naoe and her father comes back, in comes the villains of the game, the Shinbak-fu, who, all honesty, I thought it was the Templars. I thought this was what our Templars were going to be. I was so excited. And plus, the entrance, the music gave the atmosphere of mystery about these guys. And I loved it. Every second of the scene. It was badass. It was a great introduction. And, okay, yeah. Going to what the previous going back to original Assassin's Creed, having us actually find these evildoers that killed our father again. Can there be no Assassin's Creed main character that doesn't suffer a loss of life? Actually, no, everyone has to suffer a little bit. Everyone does. But god damn it, do they do it in such a badass way. Not in a mini boss fight, right to a fucking cutscene. And the first hunt of the game, which is still absolutely fantastic. Then, after the first chapter, then we... Once again, I can see where the big freaking twist is going to be. Because I play so many games and I watch so many shows, I can usually see where the twist is. We're tricked into thinking Lord Nobunaga is the guy on the horse. Yeah, because we're in chapter 1. We're obviously taking out the main dude right off the bat. You can't fool me. But then we got a badass moment of us playing as Yasuke during words, and then we get our new creed as we hunt down the rest of the Shinbak-fu. And again, I fully thought they were going to be the Templars. But they're not. They're their own legion who are a mishmash of people who have their own goals and ideals, but they work together for a common person. Which is pretty awesome, I'm not going to lie. That's an amazing thing to do. And it's what the Cult of Cosmos could have been if they were interesting. And there were fewer of them. But again, going into more of the game, having Naoe and Yasuke be one combat-based and one more stealth-based definitely gives people the choice of how they want to tackle certain situations. And again, certain situations, you will need one or the other, because some sections will require Yasuke's brute force to move obstacles and his weaponry to remove obstacle paths. There's Naoe stealth, which is damn well impressive. It's every Assassin's Creed stealth section, but amped up to the 11. With the ability to hide in the tall grass by crouching, going into shallow puddles of water and using a breathing reed in order to get away from enemies. and to using her Kusurigame to go up onto the ceilings and hang from rafters. That is genius. Not only that, but everything else in the environment can fuck you up. If you plan on going at night and you go through the with the sliding doors, turn off, make sure you blow out the lights because it will cast a shadow and the guards will see it. Also, if you got a long katana attached with a Yasuke, with Naoe, you can stealth assassinate through those sliding doors, which is also amazing. Plus, they have small trunks that you can hide in as well. Also, in the castles, they have these floorboards that squeak like birds, indicating people are there. So unless you're crouched with Naoe, you will be noticed. They take every approach to make sure, yeah, you can go in stealthily, but it's not going to be as easy as it always is. And I love it. Even Yasuke's brute force approach with the teppo, with the yumi bow, the katana, the kanabo, the naginata. Yes, his weaponry is fully brute force based, and I love it. And you can combine them for different kinds of gameplay, whether you want to strike fast and quick with the yumi, and then at close range go full brute with the kanabo, or go in for the stylized fights with the katana and using your special slash strikes, or you can, and then immediately go into the teppo and blast them away. There are so many combinations that you can do that it's such a unique thing. And it doesn't, and okay, yeah, in previous games you can choose what kind of weapons you want, but here both of them have their own. Like the ones I said with Yasuke, Naoe having the Tanto knife, which is a short blade knife, which allows you to do double assassinations because you only have the one hidden blade, and the Tanto knife so you can do double assassinations. Which, again, good idea for not allowing us to do double assassinations if we don't have it equipped. Plus the Kusurigame, making her, again, more battle ready, but not full-on brute force, and using smoke screen and poison darts in effective ways as well. So yeah, the combat in this game is fantastic. You can also, as you could progress through the game and you do side missions, you can also upgrade your abilities and either your armor, your battle skills, everything, and it just feels right. This is the kind of combat I miss. It's kind of old Assassin's Creed mixed with the new combat system, and it just feels so good, and it's not too difficult to master. I mean, although sometimes you will need to actual practice and upgrade your skills early on, a lot, if you want to progress. And I do love that in Japan, there are the 9 regions that we have, and yeah, each region has its own level area, but at the same time, it doesn't really hinder you so much if you want to go right for a character, for a mission or something right from the get-go. I mean, it will be hard, but each region has their own unique feel to it. Like there's one that's closer to the ocean, so it's more of a fisherman village. There's one near the center where there's more grassy plains for farming, and I'll get to all that stuff later. There's mountain areas, there's long roads, there's small villages, there's big, not huge cities, but great areas and the temples, the castles, everything just has that great feel to it. And again, it feels right. It doesn't feel like you're in the same location twice, unless you're in the wilderness. Then it kind of starts to blend in. But the cities, the areas, all have that distinct feel for them. And I fucking love that. Oh, God, what else? Okay, one big thing that... no, wait, where is it? Okay, so I'm just going to say this. Going into it, the game is very, very long. If you want to complete the main game in one full sitting, it would usually take you 43 and a half hours. And if you want to do the side missions as well, it'll take you 64 hours in total. For me, I did pretty much all the side missions, all the side objectives, all the Sunni paintings, all the small side missions for each character, everything. It took me 2 months to complete. I calculated this from when I got my first trophy for the prologue and then the final trophy for the epilogue. It took me a good 2 months, and I was pacing myself. Okay, that's a lie. I stayed up a lot to play, but it was such an enjoyable game that I could not put it down. And that's realistic. That is... Mirage was something I kind of had to force myself to get through because it was so short. But this, I loved every aspect. Although, now, where am I getting? The regions of the map, they all have uniqueness. They all have their own side missions. There's about, in total, and I do love how the side missions are done. Along with the Shinbok Fu section, they have this real cool investigation map where it will show you all the different groups that are causing problems throughout the land, whether it's the evil Shinbok Fu of the main story or throughout every area, and you'll find other villains. And I have a couple of them in my notes because just for fun, I decided to do, because they didn't do a lot of trophies for each section and each thing like they usually would for Assassin's Creed, I decided to just create my own trophy list for the certain aspects of the game. Let's see, where is it? So we have the Shinbok Fu. We've got the big side quest. Well, not a big side quest, but a really good one. The Butterfly Collector in one of the early areas, which is about a group of women kidnapping young children, and we got to find the mastermind. We've got the yokai, which is a big thing, which is a fun one because you get to debunk a bunch of myths of yokai throughout the land, there's not that many of them, but depending on which one, there'll be either small circles or the big circles. There will also be the Yamabushi imposters, which are a bunch of rogue monks that you'll have to find throughout the area, throughout the land. The corrupt daikon, which are a bunch of evil people who abuse their authority. So there's not huge cutscene stories in a majority of them. There are, but not all of them have that. But you feel the story within each one as you progress and as you defeat all these big name characters not big name characters. What I'm trying to say is all these enemies that you have to take out. But some of them can be a little tedious because in each area there are some similar ones. Like get rid of the bandit problem, and you'll have to go to certain areas in order to make sure they're bandits you're killing because the count won't work. Or you'll have to find the pirates in one of the areas, corrupt samurai, roaming Ronin, which is a pain in the ass because they're walking along the main roads, and you'll have to find them, which is a pain in the ass. But as for a completionist, it's more of a pain in the ass. If you're just going through the game, it's not going to be that much of a pain for you. Now, one more big thing before I continue about this game is the choices that you can make. There are some times when you can be merciless and actually kill other characters, or you can show mercy in some aspects. And showing mercy in the Butterfly Collector section is highly important because I'm just spoiling it. The girl that starts off the game for you of finding the paper butterflies, she was a victim as well, but she wanted someone to help the other children. So allowing her to go free and giving her a new name, it doesn't come back to bite you in the ass either way, but it's just a good aspect. And another thing that this game introduced was canon mode. So if you want to eliminate all choice and have the game go through how it's supposed to be of the story, you can do that. Although, again, it eliminates choice for you if you want to do certain things. So as much as I wanted to try canon mode, I'm not replaying this game for a good long time. But if you want to try canon mode, have at it. It's there if you want. Let's see. Talking about one of the other side missions is the Jesus statues, which are these statues that are along the main roads that if you give offering to them, they will give you something. And there's a mission there where you actually have to go to all of them throughout the fucking land. And it's a pain in the ass. I mean, there's a map online for all of them, but the big thing is you gotta mark down which ones you've been to. Otherwise, you'll be circling the map for hours. And I did. And it was a pain. Oh my God. What else? I've gone through the gameplay, the stealth, a lot of the creativity in this game. Another big innovation that they did for this game that I hope is in every other game from now on is the weather system. The weather system. How has this not been implemented in other games? It is beautiful. And you can only change it when it's about half full, where you can change the season on your own. And it goes through all four, and it will show you an indication because of a small cutscene. It will stop and show the cutscene of the weather changing. And everything in it is beautiful. From the gorgeous spring to the scorching summer to the absolute windy, stormy autumn to the crystal clear snow winter. And it shows. Not just in the weather system, in the season system. There's also heavy rainstorms with actual thunderbolts that you can actually hear. The wind, all your clothing flaps in the wind whenever it's storming or windy. That's great detail. That is beautiful detail.
That look good. That look good.
Having Yasuke and Naoe go through the snow at times when you're running, it does hinder your progress of running. So you will have to think on your feet. Plus, all the small ponds are frozen over. So if you're planning on doing one and you were thinking of doing that, nope, it's completely frozen over. And if you try to walk on it, you do slip a little bit and stagger. And if you go on the roof sections, there are crystal icicles, and they will fall, and if there's enemies near them, they will investigate. And throughout each season, in the environments, in the towns, you can see the change of the seasons because because the NPCs will start wearing the straw hats. They'll start wearing the poofy fur clothing, and not the tradition, and not just their robes. And you can, even in all the environments, you can see at the NPCs getting ready for certain events. Whether it's doing mochi, harvesting harvesting the rice from the paddy fields. You can see it all. People complain about the inaccuracy of the characters and everything. Screw you! This is a big, beautiful game. There are hidden gems throughout if you just shut up, stop complaining, and just go through the game and see the beauty in it. If you go quickly through the game, yeah, you're gonna miss all this extra detail. That big quadruple A games say they'll add detail, but they don't. This game has all that little detail, and it's wonderful. Every little aspect of it is there if you actually look for it. You can see all the different animals kind of being around and interacting with each other. You can see all the little aspects of the glow of certain flowers glowing. No, not certain flowers. You can see the different lighting of the different shapes of the lanterns throughout the game in the nighttime. You'll see every aspect of the architecture and the beauty of this game if you just stop complaining for complaining's sake and enjoy it. I know I'm ranting on about this too much, but this is the problem of when games like this are shut out because it's not accurate. People complain so much about stuff that aren't a big issue when the beauty of the game is right there. It's like if you had a 5-course meal and you enjoyed it, but your only complaint was that the tablecloth was not centered properly. That's my problem. People who nitpick ruin great games like this. And I'm ranting a little bit too much, but I needed to get this out because I've been festering this for months, and I needed to get it out here. Whew. So again, going back to the seasonal game thing, is that all the patrols in the castles and in the temples, patrols will change during different seasons. Either there will be more people outside or more people on certain patrol routes, or there'll be less. It's up. So tackling different parts of the story at different seasons is fully up to your discretion, and it really does affect gameplay, and it really does affect your overall enjoyment. And it is such a great aspect. So I hope for the next one we do get a seasonal thing. I hope we do. Okay, going into now what a lot of people really, really love about this game is the hideout creation. We get to fully create the buildings in our hideout the way we want them. And mine, I kind of went with kind of a rustic one. Yeah, I laid out some pathways between each building, and you can build it however you want. You can put buildings anywhere you want. You can build it with the paths. You can build it with the statues. You can build it with all the different decorations. And it's fully up to you. You can build it however you want. I personally, on the other area, and the one small islands part, that's where I put the quarters for our characters. And then in the other area, I put the dojo where they could train, right next to the armory, right next to the hut. And then the blacksmith, I put him far away so he has privacy to work. You can just build the way you want it. Unlike in Assassin's Creed Valhalla, where building Ravensthorpe was our discretion, but all the buildings go in certain areas, so there's not that so much of create your own. But this one was great. You can put when you pet different animals, you can put monkeys there. You can put tanukis. You can put dogs, cats, monkeys. You can put them boars. You can put them anywhere you want. You can put bell tower and a lookout stations for aesthetics. You can find artwork throughout the game and find the secret Sunnis for all the animals in the game that you take paintings that you draw. It just adds so much to the Japanese aesthetic of the game and gives you something really creative to do, and I do love it. Now, it's not to say it doesn't have the hideout doesn't have its faults. As great as it is, there's not so much. I mean, yeah, the more people you bring, you can talk with them, but there's not so many stories and missions to go along with the characters that you bring on board as one would hope. And I honestly would have loved it a little bit better. And yeah, speaking of allies, you can romance some characters together. And I'm guilty of having Naue go with the shooter girl. Although there was a glitch where until you beat the game, if you talk to her at the hideout, she will break up with you for no reason. And so I immediately reloaded previously before any of that because I don't know what happened. I didn't do anything wrong. It's Although with Yasuke, you choose to romance the one girl who you're training, and then romance the actual girl who's he's supposed to be with. In my opinion, she will send you a letter saying that she's forgetting about you and moving on. So the relationship thing is, again, not that big of a part of the game, but it's just there for those of you who want to dip their toes in the water. It's not like how heavy it was with Odyssey and Valhalla. So I'm glad they brought it back a bit and toned it down and didn't make every character in the game fuckable. And also, I'm glad that they didn't do the bullshit of having Yasuke and Inoue have a thing. No, they're friends, they're co-workers, nothing more. And I'm happy for that. Okay, going into another part of the game that I'm talking about. Near the end section, or depending on which Shinbaku character you want to go after, during the Fox's mission, going after the Fox, Yasuke finds someone from his past. And once he says a certain name, we are entering
Danger zone!
Man, I didn't think that Yasuke's full rage was going to be seen at all until like near the end of the game. Turns out Yasuke has a bit of history with a certain guy named Dwarf DeMello and another guy later on, Nuno Caro, who the name sounds stupid, but and this is where my intrigue in the game went from 9 to full on 20. Before I get into it, I just want to say there are certain missions in the game, side missions, that allow us to see a little bit of Naue's past from before the events of the epilogue, and Yasuke's life during the sections when he was in Nobunaga's training to be a samurai. And I'm going to say this, there are a lot of stressful and tearful moments in these games. So there are a good amount of moments in this game that give you that sense of actual story in depth and not just from us being told stuff. We are fully seeing it. And like I said, with Yasuke and this guy, this is when we get the Templars. Yes. They may not be so full in the game, but they are the ones who hired the Shinbaku to retrieve the items. The item that we needed, that was stolen from us. Now, two more things I'm going to say about this. One, there are no White Room scenes. Yeah, they brought them back. They brought them back in Valhalla and Mirage, only to not give us this in here. Because again, I get it. They're not Order of Ancients. They're not Templars. But I do like that once we kill the member of the Shinbaku, we do get awesome scenes with them as they actually talk to us about some before their death. And I do enjoy that. And then we get the awesome kind of black and white scene with the red of blood with Yasuke, with each member of the Templars that we get rid of. The Templars are fully Yasuke's story, and because of the past that he has with them, I'm not spoiling it here because it's actually really good and it drives the player more at that final confrontation, and it's glorious. It is absolutely glorious, and I love it. Oh, boy. Also, during a small section near the end, we bring a letter that's in Portuguese to an old friend of Yasuke's, and he talks about the Templars, and he talks about how an assassin took out the Borgias in Italy. So we talk about Ezio for a bit. Okay, obviously this game is like, obviously after Ezio's been dead for a while. And the whole thing about the Brotherhood isn't really done super well. Basically of Naue going through a bunch of the trials and the hidden tombs kind of or the hideaway caches of the Brotherhood in certain areas. Not so much story-wise, and it's not fully incorporated as a big part of the overall story, but it does give Naue a little bit more of leeway of what the order is and what the whole goal is a bit, and they build their own Brotherhood in Japan, which is glorious. It's got great setting and build up, which only nitpick I'm really getting at is the fact that there's not that many of the Templars in, and the epilogue, it's much like a lot of other things, it kind of leaves things in the air. Like, it's not a super huge, bombastic ending like in most of the games where all our allies come forth and for a great war or battle, but it definitely does something really, really good. But it sets itself up more. So for more missions, for more DLC, Claws of Awaji, I'll review probably next year, possibly. But it's done really well. Like, it's not like in Mirage, where the ending is up in the air and it doesn't really answer a lot of things. It does, but it just feels vague for the most part. Okay, I've talked about the gameplay, the scenery, the beautiful design of the characters, of the culture, and the aspect of the Japan of Japan. Side missions are pretty fun. You'll have 16 plus side missions throughout the map and throughout the world, which are great. And some of them are a little tedious, some of them are a little annoying, but I still say go through them. Yeah, I've gone through all these. Gameplay, stealth, story, side missions. All in all, everything I've gone over, everything in this game exceeds expectations. There are a couple things I was surprised about. I was so looking forward to doing a mission in a geisha house in order to eliminate one of the members that we were hunting down. Whether we, as Yasuke, went undercover as a patron of the geisha house, or as Naue being camouflaging her as a geisha in order to get closer to the target. Simple things like that I thought we were gonna do, but sadly we didn't. But other aspects of this game, I'm not sure if geisha houses were around or legal during the time of the time era. But if it isn't, or if it is, maybe in a future DLC, and I'm hoping they do more, because Valhalla got 2 big DLCs for the god-awful Norse god section of the game, which I barely played. But if they do another one, I 100% hope they do that kind of aspect, as well as not giving a new weapon, but giving us another new area to traverse and a new location to discover. All in all, everything I've said, Shadows defied expectations, especially for those who thought the game was going to be bad because they were going to do something stupid. But for me, this game is beyond what I could have asked for. So, GamerK's final verdict for Assassin's Creed Shadows is not 100% perfect, but it is something absolutely spectacular. If you eliminate all of the negative comments that people do because of Yasuke or anything else, the game is bountiful and great, and it deserves an 8 out of 10. If it wasn't for the fact that a lot of the side missions felt really tedious, or the fact that the Shinbaku could have been, as great as they could have been done a little bit better, in my perspective. Or if they added more Templars and brought back the White Rooms, because the White Rooms with the Japanese aesthetic would have been so perfect. But what we got was phenomenal. So it definitely deserves an 8 out of 10. I love this game, and it is definitely one of the highlight Assassin's Creed games in my personal opinion. If I had to re-rank them all, this one would definitely be on the list very high. So I'm telling you right now, stop following the negative comments about this game and come out of the shadows and pick yourself up a copy of the game. It is definitely worth a playthrough alone just to get your own curiosity and your own opinion on the game. So it's really, really great. We got one more month for this year. Like, comment, subscribe down below. Join me next month where I begin the Christmas season by doing a revamp on a list from one of my very first videos and updating it as we go through more worlds that could possibly come back in a game that's captured our hearts. This is GamerK, logging out.